as we go on. Before we start, nowadays, before we start any prayers also, we have to keep reminding. You know, right? Now, I would suggest that switch it off. Yeah. Don't take chances. It is a knack of deceiving you. Yeah. So please switch off your cell phones. And from tomorrow onwards, you have a particular seva, a particular duty to do. Anybody who sits beside you, ask that person, have you switched off your mobile phone? He or she might give you a dirty look. It's like none of your business. But it certainly is, because you are the one who's going to be disturbed first. Yeah? So please do that every day. I have to say this because somewhere or the other, just when you're pointing out something deep, something that everybody's just tuned up their mind to receive, and there, the phone starts ringing. And I hope somebody is not going to just pick up and actually answer it. They do that also. So let us first learn to manage our cell phones. Yeah? So please switch it off and make sure from tomorrow onwards it is switched off. Another thing I would like to request, the lights are too much on my face. Is it possible to, those spotlights are just, I can't see the audience. You, oh. Loudly, everybody. Oh. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Gurureva Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Chinmayam Vyapiyat Sarvam, Trailokyam Sacharacharam, Tatpadam Darshitam Yena, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Remain in silence for just a few seconds. Let your mind empty itself of all the day's happenings so that it becomes receptive for the new and wonderful ideas, thoughts, knowledge that is going to enrich our lives. You must be wondering, those who have attended previous sessions, what is this topic called as life management techniques? Over the years, Many of you have been listening to the discourses on the Bhagavad Gita, Ramayana, and last Sri Hanuman Chalisa. And by now understood that these great scientific books of lives are not just talking about some belief, some post-mortem benefit, some guarantee of life after death. To the great scientists of life who observed life, whether the modern scientists or the ancient scientists, those who observed life carefully, they were more interested in how we can live our life now fruitfully, productively, at the same time peacefully. How can we live our life? And if there is life after death, if present is good, future will be good. Why to worry? Isn't it? These were given to us as scriptures. However, generations who used to study it, learn it, master it, developed the great Bharatiya culture, the great Indian culture, that till today the world remains aghast looking at it. When many civilizations, religions have died away and have become mere history and many even forgotten, this most ancient culture still survives, still inspires. What is the strength? What is the beauty of this culture? As long as India lived this culture, India had this spirituality, remember, not only it was the greatest university in the world where people came to learn all the sciences, including, of course, the king of all sciences, spirituality. But everything from economics to politics, from various science, from metallurgy to even atomic science, India was the place where they came to learn. Takshila, Banaras were such great universities. And as long as India lived its culture, lived this knowledge, it was one of the most prosperous countries of the world. Today, we have almost forgotten. But why did the invaders come to India? Not to pick up peanuts from India, not to go to a restaurant and eat spicy food. It was a land of riches, which for about 2,000 years the invaders have looted and even now are exploiting, is it not? Yeah. As long as India was spiritual, remember, it was prosperous. And any culture, take the Greek, the Roman, the Egyptian, they lost their values, they lost their sciences, they lost respect for the culture, became totally indulgent, and there came the downfall of such mighty empires. But in spite of whatever has happened in India, in spite of even today, whatever is happening in India, the mere strength of that knowledge, that culture and spirituality has survived. Is it not? Until and unless we value it, until and unless we live it, we will not be able to see what was that pristine glory that brought the world to India and till today attracts the people to India. We have to take pride in it and we have to live it. So universal was the teaching that they never had to go and convert. They never had to go and kill. All great religions spread only from India out of inspiration. Whether it was Hinduism to Bali, Burma, China, up till Iran, Indonesia. And traces of it is even seen in the Aborigines of Australia. Whether it was the teachings of Buddha, who was born in India, that spread up to Japan, and today also spreading around the world. All these were spread out of inspiration, not by killing, not by deceit. Because the very strength of that knowledge, the beauty of such a life was inspiring. Thus, really speaking, our scriptures, that very often we just close it, wrap it in beautiful brocade. And nowadays we don't even do that. But you would have seen your grandmothers doing it and worshipping it with the hope that the mere worship of it or bowing down to it, one will gain great benefit. Reverence is necessary, but reverence until and unless it gives us that knowledge, that inspiration to live it, is of no use. Even when we study the scriptures, there are so many things pointed out, such beautiful gems on how we can live our life and benefit are there in the scriptures. Yet the very word scripture, we close our mind. It's a religious book. And with all the media publicity today against all religions, it's not a fad to be religious, but it's a fad to be spiritual these days. So if you're doing some healing, you're spiritual. And majority of people are spiritual only. They take a lot of spirit. These great sources of ancient insight that created mighty cultures, mighty empires of love, of prosperity, of peace. That science of life management is taught in these scriptures, which we very often brush them off as religious books or books for belief. So a few years ago, especially 2001, when Chinmaya Mission was celebrating its 50th anniversary of the great work that Swami Chinmayananda had done of bringing this ancient knowledge to the educated masses, so that the blind beliefs and superstitions are replaced with proper reason and living. To dedicate to that, take the essence of all life management techniques from the different sources of knowledge and to compile it together as one seminar. It is not just a religious function, nor is it a corporate seminar. It is about our life and how we can live this life completely, how we can live this life totally. The very aspect of life management which was pointed out by the great managers of life. It was very interesting. I've been very often called to inaugurate corporate seminars. More for blessings, because anything blessed by a sadhu will be successful. At the same time, knowing the little bit of business background that I had before I became a Swami, so the choice is quite made, But there was one seminar conducted by a very, very popular corporate seminar holder. And when he invited me to inaugurate this seminar, he pointed out something very interesting. He said, and there were CEOs of some top companies there, and people from every possible religious background. He said, you all must be wondering why I, a corporate seminar holder, these days they call us corporate gurus, yeah, would call a spiritual person to come and inaugurate the seminar. He said, besides the blessings, he brought out something very interesting that even struck me. He says, well, today in the corporate world, most companies survive only a few decades. Spiritual institutions have survived for millenniums. Yeah. Inspiring, with a workforce of millions of people, generating income for projects, service projects, in countless billions. How is it possible? Where did they learn this technique of management? And that too also using human resources without incentive, but with inspiration. Yeah. They come penniless and they generate and build institutions for the benefit of people which go on for millenniums. What are the management techniques that they have adapted? How were they able to manage all this? While to run one company, to run one business, to run one family, and about 50 people under your care, how much tensions? Yeah. Just run one family, how many emotions that you have to deal with? Just think. How could they run such institutions? I mean, we've seen our own Gurudev. If you see Chinmaya Mission with its 70, 80 schools, yeah, plus international school, colleges, hospitals, village upliftment program, women empowerment programs, spiritual centers around the world. How many we can go on listing? Something so even we ourselves don't know. Pathological centers, what not is there? How did the single man manage all this? Where did he generate the resources from? How did he inspire the people, dedicated the people, get them committed? How did it all happen? Because these great masters did not wait back and lamented that why it is not happening. They made things happen. And these great masters have taught us the science of life management. The first important aspect of life management is that we all treasure life. Is it not? Well, nobody wants to die. Anybody wants to die here? Yeah. Anybody? Nobody wants to die. Of course, we treasure life. But we do not make use of life as a treasure. It is something like those people who buy a lot of jewels, but they keep it in Switzerland because in Kenya they will be robbed. And of course you feel thrilled that you have the gem that even the queen does not have. But of what use is it? Is it not? See, we treasure life, but we do not treasure living. See, we treasure life, but we do not treasure living. Because we really do not know the real worth of life. We know we don't want to die. Life is useful. But what is its real worth? We do not even have the vaguest idea. Only when we know how precious this life is, then we will make proper use of it. Now you say, oh, who doesn't know it's precious? We treasure life. We think life is precious. But how precious is this life if you measure? I'll give you a very interesting incident which took place in one of the villages of India. Tourists come to India from around the world, and tourists always want to collect souvenirs. And India being an ancient land, especially people from America, etc., they love antiques. And many places in India, they know that, so they'll make everything look antique. Yeah? And anything that looks antique must be priceless. No? But knowing he was a wise tourist, he knew that you can't go to these modern shops to buy antiques. They just look antique, but they're not antique. So he went out to the villages, and he took with him a guide who could talk in the local language and negotiate. As he was passing through one of the houses, admiring the architecture of those mud houses, etc., typically to any Indian house, there was a central altar where there was the tulsi plant, the basil plant. The tulsi plant was there, and traditionally they always keep a lamp there. There was an old brass lamp, green and almost black, unattended. Probably the mother of the house goes and burns the lamp every day, but no time to clean it. It's out in the open. It is lying there. He recognized that this is an antique. And he studied antiques. So this was something which was about 250 years ago. This lamp was made. Must have been handed through generations. He told this guide, you please go and speak to these people. I want to buy this lamp. So the tourist guide asked him, how much are you ready to pay? So he said, first find out how much they are ready to give in. So tourist guide wanted to know how much he's ready to give. So he said, I will give him any amount he asks. The tourist guide was wondering, what is this lamp? I can buy him dozens of such lamps. But anyway, he went, knocked at the door. A young man came out from the house and said, what is it? He said, whose is this lamp? This boy had not even noticed the lamp. What lamp? Which lamp? Yeah. The lamp that is lying outside. So he said, how much is this lamp for? He said, which lamp? What lamp? He didn't even know. He took him there. He said, this lamp. The boy also looks, how much is this lamp for? He said, I don't know the price of this lamp. He didn't even care if somebody picked it up and went away. Yeah. So he said, I don't know. This man made a mistake. He said, this Angrez Babu is here, no? Yeah. This foreigner is here. He wants to buy this lamp. Now this boy became a foreigner wants to buy this lamp. He said, no, it's not for sale. Yeah. Because it's his grandfather's, it's not for sale. Now that man started he could only see actions. So he said, tell him, I'll give you 1,000 rupees for it. No. So this man told him, Babu is saying, I will give you 500 rupees for it. Yeah. Because he wants to take his cut, no? That's India. Enterprise, anywhere. Yeah. Yeah. So he said 500 rupees. This boy was a little bit flustered. He didn't know what to say, but how can he sell? He was trying to say, I can't. It's my father who has to decide. Now this man saw that I'm losing 500 bucks. So he looked at him. The other man said, he's not giving. He said, no, he's not giving. This man said, tell him, we'll give you 5,000 rupees. This boy is like, doesn't know what to do. So this tourist tells him, tourist guide tells him, he will give you 1,000 rupees. This boy said 1,000. He said, no. This man went on increasing. Finally, they were ready to give him 20,000 rupees, while the foreigner said 1 lakh rupees. Huh? Yeah. It's about $2,000. It's an old ancient brass lamp. Now, when he found out that this is about 20,000 rupees. He thought, I might be cheated about it. So he said, no, 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 no. Now this man goes on increasing. He's ready to give you 30,000, 40,000. He said, no, 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 no. Let me ask my father first. Suddenly he didn't know what is the price of this lamp. He said, let me ask my father. He's in the field. That this man is ready to give 40,000. Immediately what he did was, that lamp which was lying out for years, lest this man takes it away, he takes that lamp, goes inside the house, opens the trunk, locks the trunk, locks the door of his house, which is never locked. Yeah. Tells them, you wait outside, goes running to the father and tells the father, do you know that ancient lamp? 40,000 they are ready to give. Now this father comes back and says, he must be mad. Yeah. He must be giving some false note. Comes there, he sees really seeing a foreigner there who is ready to give 40,000. And when he learned that this lamp, which his great grandfather has given him, is 40,000, he refused to even sell it. Though, however, now it is nicely brushed, polished, kept in the trunk under lock and key. Yeah. Many things in our lives are lying around, inside you, outside you, around you, which are so precious, but you don't value. Starting with your wife. Starting with your parents. Starting with your husband. There are people in your life that value a lot, yet you take them for granted. There may be sources of great knowledge in your own house, but every youngster thinks these are old people. Who cares? What do they know? I got a degree. Degree in foolishness, of course, but at least a degree, no? Yeah. There are such amazing sources of knowledge that are around us that we can benefit from also. There are great opportunities available even economically. Yet, we sometimes don't know. Sometimes you could make such great use of things which are just lying in your house. Yeah? And there are certain things that you should be throwing them out. Yeah? Yeah. Including those who hold on to it. Yeah? Same way, life is very, very precious. But the preciousness of life is used when you start living life, each moment making it precious. We all wait for a precious moment, is it not? We all wait for a precious person in our life, is it not? We all dream about reaching paradise one day. Little do we realize that all that can happen now. So first lesson in life management technique is treasure what you have. First of all, start making a list of things that are precious in your life. When you start making a list, so tomorrow come with paper and pen, but not those tick, 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 tick pen. I think the person doesn't know how to switch off their phone. Can somebody help them? Yeah. So without this tick, 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 tick pens, you bring those pens. And whatever lessons you hear today, these are simple things pointed out to you. Nothing too difficult or complicated. Nothing highly philosophical, but from the depths of philosophy. But you have to do it. Write down what is precious in your life. Make a list of it. Then evaluate it. Yeah? What value will you give it? I know most of the things you might say is priceless. It will be. Try to put a price to it. What will you price it? It reminds me of a very, very interesting story. And there'll be many stories that you can remember, because nothing communicates well like a story. We may forget the points, but the stories we will not forget. There was a mother who went to a great master once. That great sage, calm, serene, peaceful. She went for blessings and said, I have a young teenager, 13-year-old boy, who is becoming depressed, dejected, bitter, angry, frustrated in life. She told the man, the master, that he is like this. Please bless him, because if he is like that, arrogant, bitter, his life is going to be miserable. So master said, why is he like this? She says, I don't know. But all the time he's complaining, he's angry with his father because his father is not rich enough. He's angry with me because I can't provide what his friend's parents are providing. We try to give them the best of education, best of school, I said. But there are richer children there. The mistake that you do. Yeah? So he says, I don't have this, I don't have this. Why? And he says, I don't believe in God. So when we don't get what we want, I don't believe in God. So I don't believe in God. This boy of mine will go astray. Please, please bless him. Give him some faith. So he said, bring this boy to me. The boy came with quite an attitude. But look at his face. A young boy who should be shining, radiant, beautiful to look at, handsome to look at. Yeah. Grumpy face. This master just called the boy and said, come here. Boy came, yeah. The master said, Beta, you don't look very happy. What's the problem? Immediately the boy said, I don't believe in God. They said, I didn't ask you about believing in God. Why are you so sad? Why are you so miserable? Why are you like this? He says, because life is useless. I don't have anything. Life is unfair. God is unfair. First you say, I don't believe in God. Then you say, God is unfair, which means God is there, right? Huh? See the irony of it? God gives these rich people everything and he gives us nothing. I don't believe in God. Okay, already proved that he believes in God. Yeah? So he said, what is it you want? Tell me. I'll give it to you. Will that make you happy? He said, yes. So he said, give me a list. The boy made a huge list, from a big house to cars, to going to, a great university and his computers and everything, made a whole list. So he said, can you calculate how much this will cost? And when he calculated, it was almost $1 million. So he said, all this is about $1 million. I will give it to you. But what are you going to give me in return? What? He said, what will I give in return? If I had the money, wouldn't I buy it myself? What a stupid question these masters ask, Yeah. Why should I give it? He said, no, you have to give me something. In return, which I will give you, so that you don't have a favor from me. So he said, what can I give you? Ask me anything. I don't have anything. He said, well, if you don't have anything, would you give me your legs for 1 million? He said, what? Would you give me your legs for 1 million? He said, no way. So he said, okay, give me one leg for 1 million. He said, no. Okay, give me just 1 foot. He said, but how will I walk? No, I can't give you. He said, okay, give me one hand. Give me your left hand. You can still drive with your right hand, isn't it? You can still write with your right hand. You can still eat with your left hand. Yeah. And nowadays you don't need your left hand. The only thing you generally use it for is the toilet. Yeah. Now you got health faucet also. You don't have to use it. Yeah. You don't have to use it. Give me your left hand. It's of no use. Give it to me. He said, no, I won't give it. Okay, just give me your 5 fingers, not even the whole hand. He said, no. Okay, just give me 1 finger. He said, no, no. Okay, which one? Give me your little finger. No use. He said, no. He says, okay, I will give you 10 times more than what you asked. Not 1 million, 10 million worth of things. Give me just your 1 little finger. Anybody? You just might get it. You know, we sadhus have got power. Yeah. Which one of you? Just this little finger. $10 million. 1 little finger. And you can of course give 2, 3 and it will increase. Not one of you is ready to give because you think I'm joking. I'll give you 10 million. 1 little finger is worth more than 10 million. Then how precious is this body itself? Tell me. How many of you ready to go to an asylum just for 1 week? 10 million. Yeah. How much more precious is your mind? How much more precious is your intellect? How much more precious is this life? For even 100 million, is anybody ready to kill yourself? Think. How precious is life itself, and yet we sit and complain. What do I have? Life is unfair. Economic situation's bad. Politics, oh, they've messed up the country, you know. Yeah. And yet the greatest capital is right here with you, is it not? Worth how many billions? Just calculate. Yeah. Having such a great capital to invest, what do we invest in? TV, BV. Yeah. No, India is very famous for these acronyms, no? Yeah. Where are you working? SPCSA. What's that? Everybody's supposed to know, you know? Yeah. Where do we invest our life? In such insignificant, unproductive things. And then we complain that there is nothing in life. So first thing is begin to value life. Life itself is your greatest capital. Then only you will value living it. No? Our rishis have clearly pointed out. Life, everybody is God, but everybody does not have a living. Isn't it? Wealth also people have. We say the lifestyle of the rich and the famous. But what is their living? You have to see. And having got this human birth, which not only gives us a precious body, which is the highest in creation, the most adaptable biologically. That's why we could conquer the world. We can live in any situation in the world, whether in the tundra or in the desert. All animals cannot live everywhere. This only shows how adaptable, how capable only this body is. Is it not? Biologically also the most capable body. That's why we have survived. That's why we can live anywhere. All animals cannot live anywhere. They can live only in certain climatic conditions. We can. Thus you see, what is it that we cannot do? And our rishis have pointed out that not only can you achieve anything in this world, but you can also achieve the infinite. If that is possible, then what is impossible for man? Yeah, tell me. What is impossible? Nothing is impossible. But we do not think it is possible because we do not value it. So I repeat, first thing, write down what valuables you have. Including your wealth, if you value it. The people in your life, your own equipments, your own talents. Today the world is beginning to recognize intellectual assets, is it not? How much does it pay? How much do you spend? How much do royalties give? Just think about it. And yet we feel it is not worth anything. When we think it is not worth anything, we waste away this life. We squander away this life. It's something like this. One farmer, while digging, found a lump, a shining stone, a brilliantly shining stone. He didn't know what to do with it. So he tied it to the neck of his cow, so that wherever the cow goes, in the sunlight it will shine, and from a distance also he will recognize that his cow is out there. So he can go and find the cow, let it go anywhere to graze. That's all he saw the worth of that shining stone. One day, a gemologist passed from there, a jeweler passed from there. From the distance, when he saw something shining on the mountain, he could realize that there's some gem shining there, the hues that were coming out. He went up to the mountain and he found that the gem was close as he went, that the light was moving. He first thought it was a UFO. Yeah. But then as he went there, he saw that it was a cow moving. And then when he looked at the neck of the cow, he sees a huge, priceless, uncut diamond. So huge. The farmer was nearby. This man called the farmer and said, "Will you sell me this stone?" The farmer said, "How much are you ready to give?" So he said, 100 rupees. The farmer said, he realized the farmer doesn't know the value of this stone, so I can pay him anything. So he gave him 100 rupees to get that stone. And the farmer was very happy. He's getting 100 rupees. For him it was of no use just to tie it as a bell for light on the cow. He didn't realize what's the price of it. When he got this for 100 rupees from the farmer, just as the farmer went away from the cow, this man took it out from the pocket to keep it in the light to see how beautiful this diamond is. But just as he picked it up, that diamond fell from his hand. And it being the hardest substance on earth, after your enamel of your teeth. Yeah? And human beings can break that also. Can cause cavities in that also. To break a diamond is impossible. And that diamond just fell down and shattered into 1,000 pieces. Shattered into thousands of pieces. Like as though it was some cheap glass. Now, he was a jeweler. He knew it was not glass. He knows the difference between glass and a gem. It fell down. It got shattered totally. And plus he paid 100 rupees for it. He was stunned. What happened? As though every piece of that shattered diamond, now as useless as a glass, seemed to tell him that that farmer did not know my worth. Made me hang on a cow's neck. What could be more insulting for a gem like that, if it was on a queen's neck, at least something, isn't it? If it was on your neck, even greater. Yeah. But on a cow's neck, it's an insult for a diamond. Because a cow really doesn't know its value. He says, I didn't mind it because the farmer did not know its value. But I shattered into 1,000 pieces because you who knew my value gave only 100 rupees for it. Just think. Just 100 rupees for it. That's all. And that too also you knew the value. Thus animals waste away their life. They don't know anything better. And yet they live a beautiful life. But human beings who know the worth of it, if they don't live it, amongst the human beings also, rare are few like you. Who at least have got the touch of higher knowledge. Who know what can be achieved and gained in this life. And even if such a person wastes away his life, then Shankaracharya says that that person has committed suicide. That person has wasted his life. Now, there are many things in life we can gain, whether it is material or spiritual. Such is the potential that is there in each one of us. Yet everybody is not able to tap into that potential because we do not know how to manage the very resources of our life. Right? Again, none of you sitting here, not one of you, not even the youngsters, are not successful people here. Otherwise you wouldn't be sitting here. Yeah. You're all successful, is it not? Nobody can say that you're not successful. You might be wanting to be more successful like others. But none of you can say that you're not successful people. Then you will say, what benefit is this to me? When I address people who have reached the corporate ladder to the topmost, naturally they have achieved what they have achieved. But the main important thing is, even they find that having achieved their limits, they do not seem to be progressing. Therefore, they become insecure and then they hold on to their position. Sooner or later, what happens is there is no innovativeness in the company, no drive in the company, and soon they will find that some of these top CEOs beginning to collapse. Because there is no new impetus, no new input in the company, because they seem to have reached their limits. Even writers, they call it writer's block. Is it not? You will also find in life, to some extent you've achieved something, but after that, it seems that life has become stagnant. Do you feel it or not? Or am I just bluffing? Be careful, these sadhus are great bluffers, you know. Yeah. The question is, how do we break these limits? How do we break our own self-made shackles? How do we get out of this monotony of life? Yes, you made a couple of millions, you'll have a beautiful life, no doubt. But if you had the capacity to make those millions, why aren't you striving to make 1 billion? Of course, you'll say, what will I do with it? You'd want it, but what will I do with it? Just to live up to your potential. If you believe in God, then why haven't you not been able to see God? Is it not? Both ways I'm talking. Because they are also, okay, we have resolved, I'll do the puja, Bhagwan will bless me, but you know, whether he's there or not, at least it helps. Yeah. Like Dhruv, like Prahlad. Are we ready to break all the shackles that even God has to come down? That type of living is what is pointed out by our scriptures. Only when we value it. Then The mistake that we do is we've got success in various fields, but the science of life management says, see life as a whole and live a whole life. Live life as a whole and live a whole life. We, even today in modern management, people have begun to realize that our companies are made in compartments. Thank God, most of the work here is proprietorship. Thus, you know everything that's happening. You manage everything that's happening. But today in the corporate world also, you'll find that there are so many compartments made, so many divisions made. The one thing that all corporate people ask is, Swamiji, how do we have communication between different branches of the company, different avenues of the company? How do we have this? Yeah. Because we start companies, we start so many branches, etc. Same in life also, we made so many compartments. Work is one thing, family is another thing. Yeah. Social life is another thing. And you notice that in some field we may be successful, but can we say life as a whole is successful? Just recently I was conducting a seminar on Make It Happen, and one gentleman came up and he said, Swamiji, I want to meet you privately. Yeah. He was a managing director, I won't give names. Yeah. Managing director of one very, very popular big company. I'm sure everybody of you have heard the name. And that company is doing very well, there's no doubt about it. One of the most successful companies. And I've done great things. He comes up to me and he says, I want a private interview. And these private interviews we Swamis get very frightened of. Something we also fear. Yeah. Why? I'll explain you next time. Yeah. So I said, why do you want to meet me? At least, tell me, why do you want to meet me? He said, Swamiji, I want to ask some questions. So I said, why don't you ask in front of everybody? So it will benefit everyone. He said, Swamiji, I can't ask in front of anyone. It's too private. I said, then you can't ask a Swami such private questions. Yeah. And he looked at me. Swamiji, it's not about that. Yeah. I know you would be more interesting if it was about that. But, unfortunately, it was not about that. So don't wonder what my answers were, So I said, then what? He said, but Swamiji, I can't ask in front of others. I'm quite embarrassed. So I said, okay, really must be some serious problem. Met him and he told me, he said, Swamiji, you know my company. You've seen all my people. Swamiji, all these mighty PhDs and, business managers. I am the chairman of this company. I am the managing director of all this. I can manage this whole lot of highly educated, powerful people, including the politicians in the country. So I said, then what's the problem? He says, but I can't manage my wife at home. I could not even be sympathetic because I said, you're not the only man in the world. I said, you're not the only man in the world. So, it's okay. When there are hundreds going through the same thing, you don't feel that bad, isn't it? So I was just trying to console him because really speaking, I had no answers. Because I don't have a wife. I don't have to deal with that problem. I feel very blessed. Now don't think it's about wives only. Wives have the same problem about husbands, I'm sure. It happened to me, a man who asked me. He said, okay, wife, though I can understand. She's an equal partner, right? Equal partner means difference of opinions. Yeah. So I can understand that. But Swamiji, you go around the world You're looking after these teenagers in school and around the world, know of your youth camps, etc. How do you manage this teenager? I can't manage my teenager at home. My wife don't understand. My own son I can't manage. So then what happened? He says, at night when he's going out late at night, I ask him, where are you going? He says, Dad, when you go out in the day, do I ask you any questions? He said, but I go for my business. He said, you mind your business, I mind my business. That's the answer I get. How do you manage your family? And I'll tell you one thing. Whenever I have had to conduct seminars for the top management, when the one who was organizing these seminars, I told him one of the topics that I will be taking. I know they are, especially at that level, they are more interested in stress management. Yeah. They're more interested in wealth management, which they might know quite well, but they're interested in that also. Yeah. They are interested in how to manage crises and problems. But one thing they're all forgetting. However well your business may be doing, if you do not have a happy family life, you cannot be without stress. You cannot be without sorrow and problems. However, your company may be doing well, you cannot be very efficient there. Of course, men have got this. They can compartmentalize their lives. Work is work, family is family. But it is interrelated. When we speak about managing love and relationships, I will give you quotes from some of the top business people and top managers of the biggest companies and chairmen who have insisted to their people that if you really want to be effective in your work, do not neglect your family. And invariably when I address this, you'll find that those who are very successful businessmen or chairmen or CEOs either are divorced, undergoing a divorce, or they say chances are good. I'm not joking, I'm telling you the truth. It might sound funny to you. Thus, we have to see life as a whole. We can't take life as a compartment. He's very successful as a businessman, but if his family is such a disaster, can he be a happy man? Tell me. While there are people, family lovely, obedient wife. Yeah. Husband ready to do the dishes. Yeah. Children doing well in school. Not going out late at nights. What else will a person want? Yeah. Yet, unemployed, business not doing well. Yeah. Can that person also be happy? Yeah. We have to see life as a whole and live life wholly. That's why holy is called as holy. Yeah. We don't understand that word holy has come from whole, not a whole. Yeah. Live life wholly. That is the technique of life management science. Clear? Therefore, we are going to see this as a whole. Now, I know most of you might be interested. Swamiji, tomorrow what topic you are doing? Yeah. Tomorrow what topic you are doing? Because, I can't attend fully, I want to, yes, you can, each topic will be of its own. But you can't take life in compartments. Take life as a whole. We will try to cover as much of our life aspects that we need to manage. We are not going to go into corporate gibberish, please. It's not a corporate talk. Nor are we going to go into technical philosophy and spirituality. We are going to make an amalgam of the two. so that it relates now in our practical life with easy techniques which have been well tested over the period of time, both in the spiritual world as well as the corporate world. Well tested, thus what you are getting is a medicine which has been tested for long, not something which is just being introduced, whose side effects will be known after 30 years. Yeah? But you will discover it after 30 months. Yeah? So, this whole we have to learn. Now, if we really want to know the science of life management, and I call it science of life management because you have to think, you have to observe, you have to do the practicals, and then when you see it live in front of you, then you have the conviction that it works. Then you can apply it just as in the science class. Unfortunately, our science is not very scientific. You read some theory written in a book and they say, yeah, I'm scientific. True science, if it is to be taught, it must be your observation, your experimentation, your discovery. Even though somebody has discovered it himself or herself, it should be your discovery. And once you've done it in the laboratory, then based on that science, what Thomas Edison just discovered today, look what we have done with it. Yeah. Then you build the building blocks of your life and you can create an empire, material and spiritual, for yourself. These building blocks we are going to give you. Thus, first lesson I'm reminding you, go and write down what is precious in your life. Try to put a value to it and then recognize how precious or useless is your life. I'm not saying everybody's life cannot be that precious, is it? Yeah. But see if your life falls under which category. Just do it and see it. And if it is precious, then keep it in front of you so that you value it and you remember it. Like Guru Nanak Sahib said, "So main visar na jai," may I never forget it. Then don't see life in parts, see life as a whole. Everything in life is precious, mind you. Everything is precious. Nothing is useless. Even after you've had economic failures, even if you have gone through a divorce or going through one, even if you've lost a family member, even to death, even if there is a major illness like cancer in your life, if there is, don't ever sit down and say, why this to me? Yeah. People have done amazing discoveries even in cancer. Without medication, even cured themselves, or with medication. Therefore, there is nothing that is impossible in life. And so what if we die? At least we tried, isn't it? Yeah? The sense of satisfaction that you gain. You're never a loser until and unless you have given up. Yeah? Another important lesson. You're never a loser until and unless you have given up. Just because you have not achieved something, or a project has failed, or even a relationship has failed, you are not a failure. An endeavor failed, but you are not a failure. That confidence you must have in yourself. And remember, as long as you live, you cannot be useless. The first lesson that was taught to any student in Ayurveda, Takshila was the center of university for the whole world, center of learning for the whole world. Students came from all over the world to learn. One of the greatest teachers of Ayurveda, when he was interviewing the students whom he had taught in general, only some rare students were given the rarest of all knowledge. And one of the tests was, Go and find out and bring me. And he gave them. He says, you can take as much time as you want. Bring me anything, anyone, any item that you considered as totally useless. He told the students. In our youth seminars, we actually make them go out and do it. And people bring such interesting things. Some person brings one thorn, somebody brings a twig, somebody brings some garbage thrown or a torn paper, and they bring all these things. Rare are the people who come back and say that there is nothing which is useless. Only one of his students, other brought so many things. Interesting, when I do it in the camps, youth camps, people bring various things, and then each child says, no, but the thorn you can use to remove another thorn. Yeah, it is useful. So many things, each one starts arguing and discussing as to what you could do with it. And then we find something that everybody says, but Swamiji, this thing we can't do anything. I said, okay, let's make some use of it. And then we find amazing uses of it. Yeah. Today, you know what is the greatest earnings? I tell you, I advise you, since I have come as a consultant, yeah, get into the garbage business. Become a kabadi. You will become a multi-billionaire kabadi. No? Yeah. I tell you, you might think, gee, dirty work, Shudra, Today, it is the largest money earner in this world. Even disposal or recycling garbage. I know companies which have done it. They laugh. He said, we are now garbage collectors and garbage recyclers. And they are making billions. Nothing is useless, remember. And in the Bhagavad Gita, Shri Krishna has said something so beautiful, so powerful. He says, don't sit back and say, why this to me? This is the implication of what he said. He says, Uddaret Atmanatmanam, na Atmanam avasadayet, Atmaiva Yatmano Bandhu, Atmaiva Ripur Atmanaha. In fact, try to memorize these beautiful, motivating affirmations. You will never feel depressed, dejected in life. Never feel that you are a failure. The glory of man is not to fall, but the glory of man is that even after he falls, he rises up again. Krishna says, lift yourself by yourself. Don't wait for things to happen. It may not. Make it happen for yourself. So lift yourself by yourself. Who is saying? God himself is saying. Who has given you all the abilities. But when you don't recognize those abilities, oh God, lift me. God, save me. Yeah. God has given you everything by which you can save yourself. And you must have heard, God helps those who help themselves. We hear these statements, but we don't make use of them. Yeah. Lift yourself by yourself. Yeah, but I too lift myself, but then I fall back again. Yeah? They said, na atmanam avasadayet. Having lifted yourself, now don't fall back again. And there's another beautiful meaning to it. Na atmanam avasadayet. Don't look down upon yourself. In this world, we keep complaining about people looking down on others. And you know who do that? Who look down upon themselves because they want to see others lower themselves. Truly successful people will always admire your success. Truly successful people will always praise you, encourage you. truly confident people will never be jealous of you. Remember this. The one who tries to show off his superiority is a person with a lot of inferiority. Yeah. The moment you find yourself gossiping, criticizing, and putting people down, keep the mirror in front of you. You will recognize that you are trying to hide some of your weakness in seeing the weakness of others. You are talking about somebody because you don't want others to talk about you. Have you noticed that or not? Yeah? If you've not, please notice. Those who are bullies are generally the most afraid. Therefore, they have a gang around them. Yeah? Think. When you see people with so many guards, and you think, wow, such powerful people and great people. Cowards! Yeah. You should make yourself so courageous. Today, even religious leaders are going with people protecting them with guns, and they're teaching non-violence. Yeah. I remember when once in the country, some very big religious personality, and they come to our Africa and to India only to convert. Yeah. Because in numbers there is power. And they come with so many guards and securities, etc., 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 etc. And they're supposed to be monks. Yeah. Unmarried priests. And look at our sadhus of India. Declaring openly, challenging openly our old ideals, unafraid of being crucified. They go about without a guard, without a paraphernalia, without protectors, without bulletproof vests. You know, some of them, if you derobe them, you'll find bulletproof vests inside. Yeah. The more insecure you are, the more protection you need. Is it not? Thus, those who have got superiority complex are actually those who are inferior. Those who are showing off are those people who are hiding something. Don't ever be afraid of them or be affected by them. Therefore, don't look down on others. Don't look down upon yourself. Because there is a law of nature, even if you are a student of modern science, that when nature finds a particular species unadaptable and useless, it becomes extinct, isn't it? Is it not? Same way in your company, if there is someone who becomes useless, what do? Make him redundant, isn't it? The fact that you are living, nature does not consider you to be redundant, even if you are a 90-year-old person in bed. Even there you can do something. Because if nature finds that you are useless, you will become redundant. Therefore, as long as you live, you cannot be useless. Therefore, please do not ever consider yourself to be useless ever. There's no occasion in your life ever to be depressed or dejected and say that I'm good for nothing. Arjuna did the same. And why did he do it? The beautiful epics give us such beautiful life examples. Faced by a challenging situation, Arjuna stood in the middle of the battlefield, facing the greatest challenge and the greatest opportunity of his life for once to do something for generations, for his nation, for the people, to wipe out evil once and for all and benefit generations, plus to express his fullest potential as the mighty warrior. No opportunity he would have got like that for his personal success as well as national success. And for the whole of humanity, what greater opportunity could Arjuna have had? However, faced by that challenging situation, he just started asking the question. And as human beings having the intellect, questioning is unavoidable. There are many questions that arise in our mind. First of all, common people, what do they ask? What happened? What happened? Yeah. Isn't it? What? What happened? You went to the talks. What? Yeah. So you question what? Then when problems hit you, you question why. Yeah. Is it not? And our whole life goes questioning why. Yeah, scientific developments also have come from why. But all answers of why you may not be capable of getting, and maybe there are no answers also. Is it not? Very often we keep saying, why this to me? Why do good people suffer? Why did God create the world? Yeah. Why there is so many sufferings in this world? Now people keep asking. Why? And our whole life goes in why. If you notice, Arjuna, if you read the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, it's a fantastic book of science, the science of life management. Stop treating it as a mere religious book. Yeah. The first thing it points out, our psychology. If you have to be a person of achievement, material or spiritual, see what Arjuna did. Faced by a challenging situation, suddenly lost confidence in himself, in his goal, in his ambition, and more so in himself, he lost confidence. And then started asking the question, why? Yeah. Why should I fight this battle? Why, if we are good, should we do this? Why this? Why? Till then, Sri Krishna was quiet. Because whenever we question why, very often we are not looking for answers. We are only looking for some consolation. Yeah? Especially men, be aware. Yeah. When a woman has come to you for help, she's crying, she's emotional. She's looking only for a solace, not some logical answers. Because emotions know no logic. It's all interrelated management topics. Not only going to come on family and relationships, Yeah. And women don't get upset. Men do not understand emotions. They try to see everything logically. That is the difference. Now, they went on asking the question, why Arjuna? Shri Krishna remained silent. Because if he answered any why, Arjuna would have a counter argument. Very often when we question why, we are not looking for an answer. We are looking actually for some consolation, not even a solution. When Arjuna kept on saying why, he got even more depressed, dejected, and finally collapsed. And said, I will not act. And then, of course, tried to show that what if I go for meditation? Isn't that a better path? Let me take sannyas. Yeah. Like that, if you tell anybody sannyas, they'll take sannyas of these talks only, Yeah. But when there are problems, everybody wants to be renunciated. I'm going with a Swami to the ashram. Yeah. Isn't it? Why get into these worldly tangles and all these problems and bondages and stresses? After all, what do I want? Yeah, I just want peace. Let me go to meditate. Yeah. This is what he said. And Krishna, the Lord, didn't say, good, 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 let's go to the Himalayas. He, as though that whip that he had as a charioteer, rather than hitting out at the, sounding at the horses, he sounded it back at Arjuna and said, you're acting like an important fellow. What a word to start with. For a man, that's the greatest insult. Yeah? Klaibyamma smagamav partha. Naitatva upapadyate. Kshudram hridaya darbalyam. Tyaktva uttishta parantapa. This weakness of heart does not befit you. You're acting like neither a man nor a woman. Somewhere in between. Yeah? For a macho man like Arjuna, that's a great insult. Calling a man a woman is not an insult. It is a glory. Yeah. Isn't it? Women will agree, isn't it? Yeah. But telling a man that you're neither man or woman, but somewhere. Yeah? The greatest insult. But shaken up by that, which was words of encouragement, that such a macho man like you, this does not befit you. You're an Aryan. Wake up. Then Arjuna started asking the question, how? Then Krishna said, now I'm ready to answer. We can keep on sitting and asking why. But ask the question, how? Remember, in this world, you're always questioning. Ask, whenever you meet anybody, they say, what do you do? Is it not? Yeah. Remember, when you depart from here also, yeah, the one who gave you this life, call it Mother Nature, call it God, is going to question you. You got this precious life. What did you do? Bhagavad Gita also starts with the question of the blind king. Dharma kshetre, kurukshetre, samaveta, yuyutsavaha, mamaka pandavascheva, kima kurvata sanjaya. What did they do? And today, ask this confronting question to yourself. You don't have to answer to anybody. Normally in these sessions I tell you, put your hand up. Yeah. But I find people shy away. You don't have to be falsely humble. Yeah. Don't be too modest. Nor have you to show off to anybody. Ask yourself this question. You were given this precious life. Call it by Mother Nature, call it by God. Ask yourself, what have you done with what you have given, that you have exclusively done, that you can proudly go back and give to your Creator, your Maker, or your parents. You can give, not with arrogance, but with pride, and say, this is what I bring to you. Go home today, write it down. See if you can find things that you can be proud of and say that I kept it in front of you, oh Lord. Oh life, I've kept it in front of you. Oh life, I've enriched you greater than the riches that you gave me. It's a very confronting question, but don't be disheartened. If you get even a 0 in it, don't be disheartened. Don't say why. Say now how I can do it. Because life is still there. It is never too late. So these sessions are going to be sessions where you are actually going to treat it as a science. Science to observe, science to inquire, science to experiment, and science to discover. I'm not going to make you and sit and do it, right? Like a classroom, kindergarten students. The choice is yours. Go home, do it today. Yeah. And see the results. First observe, then experiment, then develop. Yeah? So this will be the way these talks are going to go on. They're neither materialistic, nor it is not for the materialistic people. Our spiritual masters were not against materialism. They said in life you need all the four goals: dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Including wealth, including pleasures, including a future saving for a pleasurable and a heavenly life of happiness and joy, as well as break your limits and boundaries and attain freedom, moksha. Then life is complete. Yeah? So that science of life, that life management, we will be talking along with its techniques. But techniques can be given. You have to practice it. So please inform our this, even though the hall is almost full, I think we'll accommodate them everywhere. Especially bring young adults, even teenagers. They'll find it very, very beneficial. The titles you have read in the brochures, there will be much more than that, but including sorrow management, problem management, stress management, including topics such as even time management will come in those. Important topics of managing love and relationship and managing the manager itself, the mind. Yeah? So all these topics are there. Each day will be these interesting topics, but it will become interesting and become fruitful if you do it. Yeah? So please bring a paper and a pen. Don't sit and write all notes, but jot down certain exercises that you have to do. Try to do it. We will give you certain techniques that you have to follow. So with this, we conclude these sessions today. Each day after the sessions, there may be some announcement for your benefit so that you know how you can benefit further. So no sooner we finish the Shanti part, if there is any announcements, please stay back. We will start on the dot and we'll try to conclude it also on time, except with a few announcements that will be there for about 4 or 5 minutes after the talks, generally in the time itself. So, Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Madaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah. Hari Om.